And welcome everybody to Locked On Lads TV. I am Peter Wilkinson, and tonight we are here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, which is coming to you this week from a little place called iRacing Super Speedway. Very excited to see the Holdens and the Fords fly around this beautiful raceway that has been made by iRacing from back in the day. It's brilliant to see it. It is one of those massively banked super speedways. These guys are going to have a lot of fun. There probably will end up being a lot of carnage, but we will do racing very, very soon, with warm-up being finishing right now. By the way, I'm Peter Wilkinson. I don't know if I said that already, but we are here live to talk about the Australasian Supercars eSeries. Just quickly, let's go through the poll as we have it. Obviously, we're still doing pre-qualifying in this series, so that's why we're running a little bit later than we usually do. We need to wait for that server to come up. Plus, I've got some things going on in the background in my life at the moment right now. But we are here. We are ready to get these cars on track. The gridding is happening. We will start with the pole position sitter for tonight's race, Sean Hart, followed by Raymond Yeager on his outside. Cannot wait to see these guys do this. So let's bring up that. Let's show that so you can play along as we see there. Look at that beautiful line of cars all set up ready to go. So I said Sean Hart first, Roman Yeager second, Alan Gill third, Craig Roffey fourth, Stuart Anderson fifth, Brad Fenley sixth, Gary Wellman seventh, Greg Spencer eighth, Ruben Felt ninth, Stephen Hall. What a great job from him, sitting in 10th. Todd Maxwell in 11th. Ash Nesser in 12th. Justin Witcher in 13th. Andy Barber in 14th. Jamie Nankervis in 15th. Aidan Schultz in 16th. Troy Davidson in 17th. Nigel Patton in 18th. As they start to roll away, Dwayne Priest in 19th. Noddy Tompkins in 20th. Sean Walsh. Sorry, just changing cameras. Sean Walsh in... Where were we? Oh, sorry. Nicholas Walsh in 21st. Michael Berta in 22nd. Darren McKenzie in 23rd. Evan Horswell in 24th. Aaron Dillon in 25th. Adam Malone in 26th. Jai Schultz in 27th. Warwick Taylor in 28th. Tristan Cock in 29th. John Pritchard in 30th. Kim Roffey in 31st. Philip Howe 32nd. Matt Payton in 33rd, Troy Mortensen in 34th, Warwick Sharp in 35th, Shannon Blackburn in 36th, Stevie Hoppett in 37th, Peter Pollard in 38th, Brett Campbell in 39th, Peter Jones in 40th, Tim Blundell in 41st, Darren Robb in 42nd, and Peter Matson in 43rd place. As the pace car takes these guys down the back straight, we're going to flip it around. This Super Speedway, Super Banked final 3-4, and these pace car will drop down, and these guys and girls will be off and racing, which is very exciting to see. Look how banked that track is. That is going to be crazy at some stage during the race. But you can see back there, there's a VB car there in a place. Did I not mention Brad Fenley? There we go. We are racing. And we have Hart. Oh, no, we're racing. Pace cars away. Sorry. I got all excited. Sean Hart has jumped it and ready to go. So he is off and going. Has the field lined up. Let's have a look at a different camera angle. Look at all those cars down the speedway. It's absolutely amazing. Sean Hart with Gill behind him. Roffey in behind him. They're getting a good run there on the bottom line. The top line is not working as yet, but they will get together. They will come back. Just try to move this. And yeah, away they go for racing. Really, really good stuff. So yes, sorry, I'm just trying to organise the things background. I've got someone coming to join me in just a moment. We're just waiting for them to turn up at the moment. So keep an eye on Scotty Rankin. Will be joining us fairly soon. Let's look at that. Brad Fenley is down the inside there with... is that Stevie Hall in behind him as well? Looks like it. Alan Gill in front there. Brad jumps up to the outside, tries to make a third line work on the outside, and he seems to get the speed done. We have 3 lines, almost 4 lines there at this one stage, as Greg Spencer finds himself in no man's land. These guys going around the outside, 3 wide. Raymond Yeager pushing his way up behind Alan Gill, looking to get him moving forward his line, and gets it moving. Roffey comes around the outside though. These guys, look at it. There's cars everywhere. It is still one big pack. We have the front 20 cars covered by 1 second. This is enormous. We see Stevie Hall doing a great job down the inside there. Jumping up into technically what is 3rd in this race right now, as he takes the bottom line behind Stuart Anderson, and Gill might get the run here to come alongside. Maybe not, as you see Justin Witcher from way back down the pack has started to come up and is now battling for the lead behind Gill, pushing him along. Look at how many cars there are in one big long line as we start to get a bit wavy down the bottom there. Stevie Hall's a little bit up and down. Look at that beautiful graphics there. Roffey pushing up Yeager with Spencer behind. Another Pinnacle Esports you can see there just popping up from behind. But look who's leading the race. Stuart Anderson with his teammate just pushing him from behind Stevie Hall. Where are all the Stevie Hall fans out there, you might say? I need to find them. They need to come along and watch this glorious race right now. I want to welcome to the box Scotty Rankin. What do you expect to see tonight in this chaos-filled event?
Well, I can tell you straight away, there's going to be a ton of fatigue actually out there in the field. These guys are all running off the back end of a Spa 24 hour. I can say Warwick Sharp, for example, has been running since 8 a.m. Saturday morning. So he's buggered, he's exhausted, and I can see his car all the way back there in the pack. So, you know, there's going to be a few drivers that are like that, had 24 hours of Spa that went their way, had 24 hours of Spa that didn't go their way. Then, yeah, and it's a Super Speedway race, the chaos of the pack. Which way is everyone going? How are they handling everything? Who are their draft buddies? You know what the Simboys team looks like. You know, there's so much going on, and most of the V8 Supercars on Oval Series races are Super Speedway-esque. It is a mammoth task. It's the end of what is already one of the biggest weekends of the year in sim racing.
That is it. I'm also running on fatigue because we did the 24-hour last night. I only did one little thing, but I did broadcast the whole thing. You've only done two to it. I thought you would have done 3, to be honest. I'm a little bit disappointed in yourself, but that's okay.
Look, the result was win-win, so...
Okay. Well, next year you're racing in our team. Excellent. That's sorted out. Perfect.
We figured out the secret to success. So,
crash.
all of the teams that have done well in the 24 hours of Spa so far this year, or 24-hour races this year, somebody's had COVID. So,
there you go. Perfect. That's what you got to do. Look at this. Is that Philip Howe coming around the outside, getting a monster run over the 2 Pinnacle boys who are trying to shut this race down? They're not going to let anyone pass Philip Howe. You can see there the car behind is that the 527 of Matt Payton. Is not really pushing up behind him and not helping him go along, and you got the 2 Pinnacles in front of the other ones. Is this teamwork at its best here, Scotty?
Oh, absolutely. You know, everyone's, working so close all together. Look, to be honest, this is actually probably one of the more tricky racetracks to push people on. At the exit and entry to both of the corners, there's actually a huge bump, and it really unsettles the car. You cannot be pushing somebody if they are basically on your bumper when you get there, so you got to be a little bit more careful. You got to be a little bit more sort of organized with how you're gonna work things. You've got to have a plan, and that's about all she wrote, mate.
Look at that high line, get the run down the straight as it should. Roffey comes up.
Oh, look at the lane change.
Wow, that was a double lane change with no room for error. That is the thing, though. We are 3 wide this whole track. Sometimes 4 lanes are starting to happen. You can see it there right now as Phil Power gets up almost into, I think it might have even been Stevie Hall. Oh no, that's Code 9. This is chaos. But one car goes, they're all going to go, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
there we go. As we speak.
Yeah.
Lots of chaos.
That'll absolutely. If that doesn't trigger yellow, yeah, there it is. Finally.
Berta, unfortunately, looking worse for wear. Wow. Let's go back and have a look at a replay. I've been doing this for 24 hours as well. I basically produced our stream for 24 hours. But let's have a look. You can see here, let's go to... There's got to be a chopper involved here at some stage. We get the chopper down low. You can see there that 4th line that I was talking about. not working for whoever that is. That is the 143.
It's actually not a conventional fourth group, so it's sort of 3.5, because of particularly where the line is located as well in the middle of everyone. If you actually have a look, if he was half a car width higher, there'd actually be a lot of space to commit to that extra groove. But the problem is they go that half a groove higher, and then the problem that they've got is there's no draft, so...
Yeah, you can see the 143 of Michael Berta there, just getting alongside. And yeah, as you say,
draft.
He does, and he just clips the 66 there. Sorry, Michael Berta's the one that's been clipped. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's Warwick Taylor. And then it's got bounced up into one of the... Is that 099? That would be which Roffy's that. But he's been punched into the wall. Kim has unfortunately got some damage there from the wall. Damage on this track, if you can stay in the pack, is good. But if you lose the pack, you are gone.
It actually reminds me a lot. The NASCAR Cup Series just very recently went to the reformatted Atlanta Oval. The Atlanta Super Speedway is what they're calling it, the rework of it. Ross Chastain's the driver he actually specifically reminds me of. Chastain had a lot of damage, and he couldn't lead any of the lanes. But that meant he was actually the strongest pusher. So you can have damage and get away with it, you just can't lead a lane.
So I'm just trying to see who else got caught up in that. I think Warwick Sharp got a little bit of a hit. Let's go on top with the nose. I've got the new bonnet cam, or roof cam.
You know what? Woz won't be too upset if he does get knocked out of this one. Ready? He's actually operating on all of about 4 hours sleep, so he's at the end of his tether.
So let's have a look. Let's go back to live action as we see... Oh, is that D-Mac? I don't think D-Mac's going to have a good night tonight, although he's got the extra fast wingless version of the car. Look at them all jump off pit lane here as we see them all get back out.
The NASCAR thing is normally you kind of see sort of 2 to 3 different packages based upon what generation you're on and based upon what style of track you're on. You have your Super Speedway package, you have your intermediate package, and you have your road course package. Is generally the way that they tend to sort of go, or you might have a short track package as well. They all have different levels of downforce, different levels on the rear wing, and different horsepower packages. So with a V8 Supercar, they kind of really don't have that. It's there's an easy way to go between the packages in the middle of the race. Just bump that wing off.
He's done well. He's put a lot of effort into that. D-Mac we'll see at the end, I'm sure. So we've got a couple cars here not on the lead lap. Michael Berta, obviously. Peter Matson didn't get caught up in that. I think he's missed the start. I'm pretty sure I saw someone was not in the service, so he'll be working hard there. Although with Berta being a lap down, it's going to be pretty hard for him to get the lucky dog, but I'm sure there'll be some chances there.
That seems to be a feature of Peter Matson's racing, unfortunately, this season. Is he's that's not the first time I've actually seen him miss a start. So
ooh, we've got Pinnacle going in. Sorry to bother you. They're going to top up on a little bit more fuel.
Well, have a look at what they tend to typically do as well in terms of strategy. They want to trend together as a team, and what's the easiest way to get all 4 of your cars together in the pack? Well, it's actually to pit again. So they will be at the tail end of the pack, but obviously they're not having any issues fighting through. This is one of the wider tracks. I mean, if you have a look at the corners, there is easily 6-7 lanes. You could probably squeeze anywhere up to 8 to 10 cars actually side by side through the corners. So there is the opportunity to do that. Is it theoretic? Is it realistic? Is it feasible that we'd see something like that happen? Absolutely not. No way. These cars would just come unstuck and it would end up in a mess very, very quickly. But yeah, there is a lot of space. The cars don't stick to a groove very, very well, but they've moved through the pack. And what we've seen from them over the last couple the season to date so far is that they quite comfortably move their way through the pack. Yeah. And they're comfortable to do that. They're comfortable to throw out a little bit of a strategy limb whereby that happens. So this doesn't surprise me from these guys at all. They want to get, particularly Witcher and Jaeger, they do want to lock themselves together.
How about this little cam we've got going now, Scotty? How good's this? Through the back wing. Looking from Philip Howe's car back to the 222 of, you said, the very, very fatigued Warwick Sharp. And I completely understand that. You can see all the cars there starting to line up too wide as we're going to get ready to go. Philip has a bit of a wiggle there. I don't know what happened there, but at the front there, he's got plenty of room to go. Look how banked the track is. It's phenomenal. Have you raced this track very much, Scotty?
I've only driven this track a couple times, and I'm really not a fan. In terms of super speedways, this is probably the worst of a lot of them. The cars just doesn't want to stick. Nothing really wants to happen. So
there's the restart zone on this track. It's a fair way down here. There we go. Big backing up. Warwick Sharp's gone around the outside. He's overtaken 2 cars before the start-finish line. This is jam-packed, ready to go. What's your ruling on that? That's fine. Overtake on the outside before the line. Is that what I understand, Scotty?
Yeah. So the ruling is you cannot overtake on the outside of your lane only. You cannot, if you're on the inside lane, you can't move up to the outside lane before the start-finish line, and vice versa. You're in the outside lane, you cannot move down before the start-finish line. But if you're in the inside lane and you go in between the bottom lane and the top lane, totally fine. And on the outside of the outside lane when starting up there, that's totally fine. So very, very good restarts from a couple of these guys. Good job. Warwick, obviously, really good check up on the throttle. Great job from...
Excellent. So we are racing again. Gilles is there behind his other Code 9 buddy. That's Stuart Hart. And we've got back to the back front of this is Stevie Hall and Stuart Anderson pushing themselves along this track. It's great to see these guys up the front of the track. Just a quick few stats here as I try and get my things in order here.
So look at them! Look at them! 5 wide! They are 5 wide!
2, 3, 4. Wow.
Just on the bottom!
131. That is Stevie Hoppet flying around the inside to get the front of the thing. Now, where are you sitting? Let's talk before we get another caution here, because I see this happening very quickly. Where do you want to be on this track, Scotty, when you're racing around in this chaos?
We've only got 67 laps, so the biggest issue here is that...
There we go. Sorry, cut you off. Warwick Sharp's been bumped by, I think that was Philip Howe into... I think that was Stevie Hoppet.
Is spinning.
Oh, Sean Hart was it?
Yeah. So he's saved it. He's kept it out of the barrier. So there's realistically, there was only 2 cars that are actually involved in that one actually got contacts. There's not a huge issue here. This will just be a re-rack them and go again.
Let's have a look here. You can see Warwick gets on the back there. Philip Howe gets a run here. Gets on the outside and then gets low and just hits him. And then goes up into the wall and then comes back down for a second hit. At this stage, he's out of control, which then takes out Hart. Yeah. No one else gets damaged. And Hart is the problem there, unfortunately. Not the problem, he's not the cause. I'm not going to say that at all. He's in as a bystander. He's the only one to take the damage, is what I'm trying to say there. Wow. I've been way too long. To this,
aren't you? Yeah. You put your foot in. I was actually talking to my wife the other night, and she was discussing the rebirth of foot and mouth disease in animals in Australia. I said, foot and mouth. Yeah, that's what I tend to do.
That's it. So what you call there? So there was Philip Howe got a run, right?
He's got a. So the issue is. And this is the biggest issue that this series in particular has to deal with at all stages. When you got to run, you got to take it somewhere. And I don't disagree with the call from Philip Howe. I think, yeah, look, there's a time to take the run somewhere. He's got to run. The car's a little bit unsettled. I think he's just thought that there was a little bit more room up there than there possibly was. It's whatever. He'll still be at fault because he's definitely the car that's caused this one. There would be no caution if he comes back down off the wall. But at the same time, he gets a little bit upset by a brief nudge with Warwick Sharp. And it doesn't take much. Remember, these guys are doing... And it actually looks like from his onboard that Warwick actually comes up. So you've also got to remember that there's 2 sort of scenarios in these things. And I can tell you from experience, I've been in Philip Howe's shoes and I've been going, oh, the other guy's at fault. The other guy's come up on me. No, it's just the angle of your car. So it's actually because Philip Howe's actually moved up and changed the attitude of his car. It looks like Warwick's coming up. So he's tried to create more space, but there's only just a car width there. The issue I have with the move from Philip Howe here is, yeah, you've got to run. That's awesome. The problem is the car that's behind you in the queue has to be on your bumper for you to take that run somewhere. If he doesn't have support, he's going to stall out, and that other car is going to assume his spot in the queue. So effectively for Philip Howe, his run isn't going nowhere there, and I wouldn't have taken that one somewhere is the reason what I would have done there. How about Alan Gilles? When the C's part, they part, don't they?
They do. So yeah, let's go back to live. We've seen some more pitting. We've seen the crew from Pinnacle, I'm pretty sure, go in yet again. And what's spotter cam? Okay, there you go. Cool. Look at that spotter cam. Adam Malone pit. He's in. He's got some damage down the side there. I don't remember seeing him involved in anything, but obviously at some stage he has been. Raymond Yeager there trying to catch up to the pack. He has got Justin Witcher, Greg Spencer, Nigel Patton as well behind. So they're all sitting there ready to go. As we go back to the front from the spotter's view, look how high up he is. Look at this. Can you imagine trying to call this race from up here, or help your team out from up here?
Pair of binoculars, probably a telescope attached to the front end of those, and is the Hubble still in operation? I think we need it.
We do. Let's have a look as they come down the straight. You can see more cars peeling off. You can see that blue and white familiar flashing with cars flashing the lights of pit limiters. That is Pinnacle coming in again to splash up. They are going to, if they can work their... So let's say 67 laps. Have you got any information on tyres or fuel?
Tires, absolutely irrelevant here. Would not be considering tires at the slightest.
Fuel.
Look, the way, in the words of the great Dale Earnhardt Jr., pretty much you throw tires on so that you can make moves later on. But if you've already got the spots and you want to sort of keep your track position, you don't come down and take tires. Tires are just going to sort of be able to give you the ability to control what lane you're in and where you're taking those runs. That's sort of the only reason to take tires. What they're doing is they're leveraging the fact that they've not really got a huge deal of track position right now. They came down, they took that extra splash. This caution right here works far more in their favor than the previous one does. Why? We had a short run. There is a bigger gap in everyone else's tanks now. Under that last caution, you saw the bulk of the field pit. Absolute bulk of the field pit. Now they actually have an advantage. One lap, yeah, there is an advantage there, but it's minimal. It's 1 liter, it's 2 liter. It's half a lap of being able to just all of a sudden go back to full throttle. Now they've got an advantage.
Yep. I'm just looking at the timing board here. Apparently Stevie Hoppert has done 0 stops. He has stayed out there for track position 100%. We saw him get the lead there at one stage. He has done a stop, you reckon?
No. He's absolutely stayed out. I'm just having a quick look through. First car to pit on lap 13 is Craig Roffey. Ash Nessa, so P12 and forward have not pit, according to my timing. But my timing's got a gap in it, so don't trust that too much.
How has the field? I haven't said that before. He has it, and he jumps, and he's off and going. Gilles around on the outside. Anderson behind Philip Howe. There's an instant third line, as we know, and almost a fourth one. It is a fourth one. There's 4 already going into the first turn. Gilles gets down behind. That is Aiden Schultz taking the lead of the race. Jai Schultz is back there as well. The battle of the Schultzes is on. 143. We saw that person before. That's Warwick Taylor in there as well. Gilles pushing Aiden Schultz along. And that is Stevie Hall yet again in behind and ready to go as someone just drops. Jai Schultz just vanished from the server.
No, he's back. It's all good. I think he's okay.
Not on my timing screen.
It'll blink back in a second or he's gone. Anyway, there's a couple sort of things that I want to sort of inform you. Most importantly, that Schultz battle, that to me is more important than a championship. So keep that in the back of your mind. Number 2, Philip Howe. He got some runs going there. He had a little bit of momentum. And then have a look at Stuart Anderson. Anderson abandoned him. Yep. Don't make enemies. When you're at super speedways, don't make enemies in the first half of the race. Why? It's so hard to rebuild those relationships. If you're going to make enemies, don't give them the chance to pay you back.
That's it. You see Stevie Hall there pushing his way in, really balked Philip Howe there just to make sure he's in behind Anderson. And now almost gets a run on Anderson as Anderson comes up high. We're not watching...
Don't look up. That's teammates. That's teammates right there. So that is perfect. That's where they want to be. They're now grouped up. And they've got control of the bottom line. Honestly, if there's any line I want control of, it's probably this bottom line. Have a look at the Pinnacle car.
Yeah, Matty Payton. He is the leading car, and I'm going to say this, and you're going to hear this correctly, that has stopped 4 times in this race. We are 16 laps in. If you said that to me last night when I was doing the Spa 24 hour, the race would be over. But He is there in third in line, in the bottom line, as he jumps up second in line, and he's going to jump up to the lead of this race.
So
As we go
he's got a huge
4
head of
wide.
steam there. The biggest issue he's looking for is he wants to hear the words clear, 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 clear high.
And he is clear
And
high.
He got them. He did get them. So if he can fall up and he can just stick his nose just up in front of Aiden Schultz, that's exactly where he wants to be. Then he's got draft support. That's how you get the moves done. So he's done a really, really good job. But remember what we said about Philip Howe as well. Didn't have draft support when he went to go for the move. Now have a look at Aiden Schultz. So every lane here is stalling out. Why? Because nobody's pushing anyone. Everyone's going on solo adventures.
That's it. Let's have a look at the back. Oh, that's in the cockpit, sorry. Let's have a look at the back of one and only Aiden Schultz as he gets down to the bottom line with a huge move in front of the whole pack. But Stuart Anderson here is going to push on by. Look how crazy this is. Andy Barber here. Who's father of the commentator we had last week, is actually pushing Aiden Schultz, doing a great job. Gilles coming up the inside here. Roffy's got a great run with nowhere to go.
Oh, he's got nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere.
Absolutely.
But that's critical. That's critical because he just broke up the teammates there, or the sort of the sister teams, if you will, of Barber and Schultz. That was critical. Now they actually get grouped back up together. So that's actually harmed that whole lane. If you have a look, the top lane is the one that seems to be able to make the moves. Patton down on the inside, stalled out, got there, got somewhere around there. Again, it's about energy states. What you really want to have is you want to be in the lane with the highest energy state. And what that means is you want to have the most cars sort of clustered together. When you've got, say, 2 cars, bumper to bumper, what you've got is you've
wide, and we have contact. Sorry to cut you off there, Scotty. I thought it was all going to happen there, Roffy. And Schultz, and there we go. Schultz is into Gilles. Gilles going to hold it. Massive effort from the field not to come unstuck there. Massive effort from Gilles.
Here comes Philip Howe on the bottom. So he's off the banking. Who's going to come out the head of this one? Like, the problem is, have a look at the top lane. Have a look at Warwick Sharp. He's connected to that bumper. The most critical thing that you've got to do as the lead car in one of these packs, you actually want to ride on the brake. Just a little bit. Because it drags you back to that car behind you. You get 2 cars hooked up. You get one car that's got an air pocket and the other one that doesn't have it. But you've got 2 motors working together.
Matty Payton is clearly going back to his team. There's been a call here. We don't want to be at the front here. That's where the damage is going to be. Look at him slot back in front of Raymond Yeager. Right here, ready to go and just stay out of it. Look at the other team. We've got Pinnacle Low, and we've got, which one's that high? It's Ruben Phelps' team. Anyway, the one he goes for. One that he races for. They are 100% staying out of this. Not having a part of it. The 3 and 3 in a row there. Let's go back at the front here, where the chaos is and where the chaos will come from.
Go, Phillip! Go, Phillip!
Oh, Stevie almost taped him, and then it pushes. There we go. There's some contact as well. And another rub. Peter Pollard in there, getting belted around.
So what Philip's doing is he's just breaking the teammates up as well, just unsettling them so they can't be on each other.
Sorry.
The biggest issue, though, they have the option to cover Philip off on the bottom lane. They're not taking it. They're leaving a car's width down there. You can't leave a half a car length down there. If you leave half a car length to that yellow line, that's a gap. And if I'm a racing car driver, what are we going to do, Wilco?
Oh, we're going to basically spin ourselves out. No, we're going to go for the gap. We're going to go for the gap. Sorry, you're going to give me multiple choice so I can get the right answer. I'm not a race car driver. I proved that last night. I'm a person who keeps the seat warm while best I can and makes many incidences, which is not a good thing in the Spa 24 hour. But anyway, we got there. We push forward and you can see there Warwick Sharp is really starting to push. Roffy.
Who's that car?
O2. Is that D-Mac? D-Mac's car's got a boot again. Is that...
There's been enough cautions. He might have, although it could have been one of his teammates. I'm actually a little bit worried about that purple car, I think it was. One of the 2 purple cars.
No, Warwick Taylor.
Yeah, so Warwick's... Oh, okay. Okay, boys. Don't feed in. Don't feed in. Unsafe rejoin rules in play.
Stuart Anderson getting back up, who's been doing a great job with those beautiful red eyes, with Stevie Hall pushing him around, has got a bump and got down, but got back out of it. D-Mac. I'm sure it was D-Mac's car. He's looking very different. I'm trying to look down the bottom to see who else it would have been. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But he's doing a great job being back up there again anyway. Oh, as Philip Howe gets into him. And look at that instant instant netcode repair as well. That's interesting.
So a couple things to note here. We talked about Peter Matson obviously being a couple laps down in the very, very early. Oh!
Huge hit.
That's
We're
an
green.
engine.
We are green still. Who was it? Kim Roffey's going backwards quick. I can't get the 099 car. There it is.
That's not done.
Yeah, that's smoke. That's got no power. He's got no engine. It will probably end up blowing at some stage. I want to quickly look at this replay. We know it's still live. It's green, which is interesting. We'll do it as quick as we can. You can see that Phillip Howe bumps Warwick Sharp, which bumps that one in the background. Who was that?
That is Kim, yeah.
805. Peter Pollard. So let's have a look from on board here. We'll go back to live in just a moment. This is just a huge moment. So Phillip Howe just bumps Warwick Sharp into Pollard, into Roffey, and they just get away with it. As in, Roffey stays high. You can see him in the background there, and he survives.
No way. No way. Is that Matson that's just taken the outside line and taken the lead? So this is a really, really interesting situation. So there's two ways to think about this.
2 laps down.
Yeah, so from Peter Matson's point of view, if he gets up here and he's ahead of the leaders when that caution flag flies, he's effectively at 1 lap down. Then he gets a lucky dog. He gets 2 laps back in 1 hit. That's what he's up. That's the reason why he's up here.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, there it is, Gillian Howe again. This is the caution he needs. Was he in front? Who's that on the roof?
No, he's not. He's not. He's absolutely not. So
no, that's JB Nankervis. But he will get... So if everyone pits, which I assume they will, he'll get...
No. So he always gets 1 lap here back, whether that is lucky dog or whether that's wave around. So he only gets 1 here.
Yep, fair
now,
call.
yeah. So effectively the scenario is, because I've had this happen as well. You can get 2 laps back under 1 caution. How do you do that? Well, effectively you are only getting 1. The problem is, if you are ahead of the leader at the exact moment of caution, you're only 1 lap down. You get to go all the way around past the pace car, tag onto the back end of the field. There's 1 lap back. Then you get a lucky dog. That gets you another lap back. That's how you can really do it. For Matto, though, now his responsibility should be to just sit right at the back, save as much fuel as you possibly can, because no matter what happens, you get 1 more caution, you are back on the lead lap. So that is now his new responsibility. His whole game plan changes. At 2 laps down, you've got to be a little bit more aggressive. At 1 lap down, you've got to be a lot more passive when you're the only car in that position. If there's 3 or 4 cars that are at 1 lap down, the scenario changes again. You've got to be that lead car 1 lap down. But whilst he's in this position, he's okay.
No, the Pinnacle guys have got caught up in that too. By Brad Fenley, has come down. Oh, look at that underneath. Just a bit of clip there.
Is that Troy Davison?
I don't. It could be.
I'm pretty sure that's Troy Davison's Simboy's colours. Give me a second. I got a cat that's demanding to be fed.
023. You are right. Troy Davison. Yeah. Let's go on board on his nose and let's have a look at this from a while back. I want to go on board with a couple of the Pinnacle guys as well. You can see it all happening here. He's fine, but look how steep this banking is. He's got no control. This car is flying.
He's okay. He's actually going to get away with that one. That's bounced off his roof.
Yep. The 90 I want to go to now. And quickly look at this. This is the problem with being at the back of the pack for these Pinnacle boys. Yeah, cool, they're not up in the original problem, but have a look at Brad Fenley up the top there. So he's trying to avoid. He comes down, and Phillip Howe falls down, and nowhere to go.
So there's sort of 2 stories there again. With oval racing, it tends to not be a huge issue because you generally don't have enough banking for it to be an issue. But when you get to hugely banked tracks, you have to have a minimum amount of momentum to keep the car up a little bit higher.
Yep.
As Brad's gotten on the brakes here, yes, he's also turning down, but all of a sudden that banking takes over and it drags his car down.
You can see
but he's got no choice. He's literally got nothing he can do.
And you can see Phil Power's got the brakes on. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, he's stopped. So that's literally banking. There's nothing he can do at all. I was going to actually look up. This track has the highest banking of anything, which is why it's actually not a real track. Yes. Coincidentally.
Good luck. Let's go back here. So I just want to. I was going to show quickly, but I've lost it now. Peter Matson was 2 cars in front of him, unfortunately. That's all there was. There was a Roffy and someone else that was in front of him. He was that close to getting the double and being back on the lead lap, but he's only 1 lap down. We've seen 3 cautions in 25 laps. There is every chance he's going to get back on the lead lap any second, and as you can see, he's got the ability to get to the front. Do not write him off. Philip Howe has left the session. I don't know whether that's incident points related or he's towed.
The car is probably absolutely
I
totaled.
didn't think it ended up that bad.
Okay, so 36 degrees of banking. So remembering 90 degrees is a right angle, right? 90 degrees you're running literally perpendicular to the ground, to the flat ground. 36 degrees is just under half of that. That's why it is quite as much as it is. Down to 10 degrees of banking, did I see? Yeah, 10 degrees of banking on the straights. So a huge banking transition when you're coming off of those corners as well. You got to get from 36 back down to 10, 26 degrees of banking change, which is why there's that big bump. It's actually not a bump in the circuit. It's just you physically got to come off 36 degrees.
No, it is crazy. I've done this in the trucks one time, and yeah, you are holding on white knuckles every time you come off that because you never know what's going to happen.
If you want an experience, the best, probably the most white knuckle experience you can have is racing the 87s around here, the legacy NASCARs. They
slide down the banking as they go around the corner. Is that what happens?
No, they've got sort of similar horsepower, a lot less downforce, and a lot less suspension. So
blinking in the background there, the FS car. That would be 2 back. That would be Dwayne. 777. Yes, Dwayne Priest. Keep an eye out for that one. The last thing you want when you're racing around at this level, this chaos, you don't want those cars vanishing. You can see there, that's D-Mac right up behind him as well, ready to go.
Oh, there's a few cars at the tail end that are still trying to adjust where they need to be in the queue. So there's probably going to be some black flags that'll be issued by iRacing.
Dwayne Priest, look at him on the brakes there as he goes.
Michael, so Michael Berta, Warwick Taylor, Peter Matson, 3 cars just got black flags there.
Wow. Look at him just keep going backwards here. I don't know what happened there. There could be some technical issues, but I don't have any other reason why, unless he was out of position.
Yeah.
But I don't think at that front of the grid he would be. But anyway, so yeah, 3 black flags from restart infringements. Jamie Nankervis has left the server, unfortunately, as well.
Another yellow.
Yeah, is this admin called to fix up the issues? Is this...
I have no clue what's happened there. Because I was thinking, just because of the issues, there might be... Sometimes when you're in that sort of a situation, we have seen it in previous weeks of this league. There's so many cars now with such a massive field. It actually takes them more than 1 full lap to actually get formed up into pacing once they pull off from a static start. So this track is obviously a fair bit longer. You get a lot more time to sort of organize yourself. So I was wondering whether or not the admins might be able to actually get to that in time and say, hey, we need to probably extend this caution by a lap. Again, it comes down to the driver. So the way that this league is run is generally what you call more of a bare bones style of league. If iRacing is going to issue a penalty, there will be no penalty clears whatsoever. Now, what that means is for everyone, it's very consistent. If you know that iRacing is telling you that you're doing something wrong, you're going to get issued a penalty. If you enter a closed pits, going to get a penalty. If you enter an open pits and a car ahead of you slows down at the last moment, you're getting a penalty. You're just having to serve that. It's a little bit of a difficult approach sometimes because there are some gimmicks, and we have seen that this season already with the iRacing pace car just going, hey, the whole field should be way wide. Yeah. There are some occasions whereby it sort of doesn't work all that well, but by and large, it does work quite well because it means that the rules are consistent for everyone and there's no room for interpretation on them whatsoever, which is the best part about it. The downside is when you get a really strung out field, guys pitting late, guys trying to get repairs done very, very late, it's your responsibility as a driver to sort of park yourself down on the apron and say, I'm not catching up to this pack until everyone's gone past me, and that's what's going on there.
Now,
so anyone that...
The problem here, right, is we've got 3 black flags. They can't even serve these now anyway, so they're going to go a lap down at some stage.
Not necessarily. So best way to handle this, and this is for any budding sort of NASCAR oval fans that are sort of just getting involved in iRacing. Go, Scott, what's going on here? Why have I got a penalty? How can I maximize it? Well, time for a masterclass, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god! Look out! Where's the artwork? I don't have it yet. Sorry.
What you want to do for yourself is you actually want to position yourself at the tail end of the pack. As the green flag comes out, the field is still at pacing speed. What that means is the delta, the pit lane delta, or the time that you lose compared to a regular circuit lap is a lot lower. You have to serve it under green flag conditions. It cannot be under a caution whatsoever, so you put yourself in a position to take advantage of that slower startup speed. It means that you probably won't go down a lap, but you'll be very, very risky at a lot of the circuits at going down that lap just for serving a drive-through penalty. If you've got yourself a stop and hold penalty, there's nothing you can really do. Once you're in the pit lane to serve that penalty is considered served. If a yellow flag happens whilst you're in the pits and whilst you're already serving that penalty, the penalty is served. For stop and hold penalties, you must be in your box for that to apply. So if you have a stop and hold penalty and you're 5 meters short of starting that penalty, you're just pulling up in your pit lane and that yellow flag flies, get out of there. Get back onto the lead pack, try it again.
So let's quickly run through. We had Peter Matson as the person ready to get the lucky dog. He's unfortunately now joined by Adam Malone, Jai Schultz, Brad Fenley, and Alan Gill a lap down, and he's the back one of those ones, so he needs to work his way through to the front of that crew at some stage. We are 2 wide going into the final lap of caution. You can see how strung out the field still is. But that is the top 31 are still on the lead lap, 30 laps into 67. There are then Tim Blundell is 4 down, Jamie Nankervis is 7 down, but he's out of the server. Kim Roffey's 7 down and still going. Philip Howe 7 down, out of the server. Darren Robb 8 down, Michael Berta 13 down, and Shannon Blackburn 19 down.
So continuing on from avoiding caution, avoiding penalties and things, have a look at that car that's in that top lane, just gone out a shot on the right. It's Adam Malone. So he's got a penalty that's basically saying he needs to restart at the tail end of the field. He's got to let a whole bunch of drivers by. He's getting that out of the way as soon as he possibly can. See how he's not waiting until the last possible moment? That means he's giving himself the most amount of time to sort himself out.
Yep, 100%. Just quickly, I noticed Warwick Taylor has done a drive-through. He is still on the lead lap, so he got that through. He's 21 seconds on pit lane, 0 times and 0 seconds in the box, which generally means it's a drive-through. So what stage that happened for? Maybe incident points, I don't know.
So he did have a black flag to serve. However, by the time he got around to try and serve that black flag, the yellow flag was already out. So he actually didn't clear that one.
So he hasn't cleared it, but he had to drive through the lane anyway. As we get ready to go, pace car's down. Warwick Sharp, the fatigued man, is leading away Hart, and then Craig Roffey on the outside. As you can see, the 777 there of Dwayne Priest gets right out of the way yet again. Second restart in a row. He's done it. He's been luckily in the low line this time, so he's got right down low. I think he's having connection issues, but maybe there's something else there as well.
Yeah, I think he's having some sort of hardware issue as well. So he's... And the critical factor for all of these guys, and particularly Dwayne, is you cannot change your lane prior to the start-finish line. So the best thing that he can possibly do is get going as quickly as possibly can. It's instant he clears that start-finish line, get down, get out of the way. That means that nobody's breaking rules to get around him, and that's the best possible thing you can do for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I've had it before where for some reason, I think I worked out what it was, but there was... car was fine, racing at every stage until we restart, and then I lost frames for the whole restart, which obviously didn't end well. And then you get them back and you're in the wall. So
you've got to get the best jump that you possibly can so that you don't compromise as many people as possible. If you lag back and you try, nobody in that situation is trying to compromise everyone. Everyone's trying to do the right thing. The problem is what you think is the right thing and what is the right thing are two separate things.
I see 2 clear packs now forming. There's the ones up front which are happy to race, and then there's the ones that are behind that have either been something's happened to go back. I can't even think of words right now. Or they're just staying off this top pack and just leaving it. So you can see this front pack here. We go back to that pack here, which Pinnacle is trying to bridge the gap right now. So they're not happy being back in this pack. As you can see there, that low line is starting to really get a run on them, and they can use that to go up front here. The gap is 2 seconds currently between packs. Basically, those two, Greg Spencer and Matt Payton, are being either pulled back. You can see it right there. Great example of how far this gap has formed. You can see Pinnacle moving to the front of this second pack to keep an eye on it. As the front of this pack, as we look from the spotter's view, they're 5 wide. Going into turn 1, you can see Stevie Hall there. The lead of this race. He's going to get some bonus points here, Stevie Hall. Good job. As Warwick Sharp gets around the underneath him, and a bit of almost a bump there. Simboys, the car of 16, Todd Maxfield is flying up the outside of him, with Stuart Anderson pushing him along. It's a great job. You can see there another example of how much this front and back pack are split up. It is 2 seconds between the front group and the back group, as we missed that, but Todd Maxfield jumps way down the outside, from the outside to the inside line to get in front of Stuart Anderson and Stevie Hall, who now can do what they want. Stuart Anderson does not like that, and Stevie Hall follows in the push up. We've got the car of 66 up ahead here, which is Michael Berta, which is part of this team, as Roffy comes around the outside. Is about to be lapped for another time, as Roffy goes right around the outside, gets all that momentum, comes down the inside, and he is clear. But now runs out of push.
Yeah. Yeah, so Roffy's biggest issue right there is he's got way too far out in front. If Roffy had just sort of cleared these guys and then stuck his nose down, so you can see now he's trying to get out of the way. So what he did wrong there was he just got too far out ahead. Now everyone else has got the momentum, but he sort of pulled them along for a little bit. Backpack's starting to close back in. You talked about it, the Pinnacles esports guys. They recognized that there was an issue there. They recognized that they needed to problem solve and that they needed to work together, so they positioned themselves through. I think we saw a huge run from Michael, was it Matt Patton earlier in the race, where he sort of went from about 30th position all the way up to sort of the top 5. That was exploratory. I think that was that whole team sort of going, Matt, go have a crack, get some data for us, see how easy it is to just sort of slice and dice your way through the pack. Why is this pack moving faster? They're single file. They're not squabbling. They're all working together.
And you can see there, Tom Pritchard's the back of this pack, and he's just lagging off. Oh, no, he's not. So it's Troy Mortensen is just lagging off enough that this gap is now under a second. These guys are going to really catch on to this, and once they catch on, it's going to be like a bull at a gate. These guys are going to have to either slow down, or they're going to have to find a way to get through to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. I'm really not too worried, particularly for these guys back here, the Pinnacle guys. They want that space to sort of take avoiding action. Aaron Dillon doing his... This is sort of an Aaron Dillon-esque style race. This is where it really excels. The traditional Super Speedway style races. Not your cookie cutter style Super Speedway races when they're slapped into a V8 supercar. So I was looking for a strong result for him tonight, and he's probably just hiding, just being patient, and now he's starting to show.
You can see Greg Spencer has attached himself to the back of that crew. There is a small gap forming between Skypoint and the front pack, but I don't think that's anywhere near enough. It's only about 3/10. It's actually closing up now. Greg Spencer's half a second off the pack, which is close enough for his liking. You'll see we're 36 into 67. We've got 31 laps to go. Give them 15 laps, they'll be up there. I assume these guys are probably filled to the end at this stage.
Well, I was just thinking, I'm actually going to go ask the Pinnacle guys, because if anyone's going to be able to save the fuel, it'll be those guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some fuel numbers.
No problems, mate. Let's have a look at this, as the front of this pack is... back down to 3 wide. Aaron Dillon might make this 4 wide. No, in the background, Noddy Tompkins decides to make 4 wide. Warwick Sharp goes with him. Decides we might be able to get the run here and get around on the front here. But he doesn't quite do it. You see the damage down Aaron Dillon's car as he pops in and makes it the 3rd line again, just high. The front to Stuart Anderson. And the 16 there of Todd Maxfield getting very close to each other. The two Southern Stars cars there pushing along Todd. Roffy gets Warwick Sharp to the front. What's Sharp going to do? Is he going to hold on to this, or is he going to go in and try and jump down the bottom line? as Noddy decides to push his way up. He's not having any part of being the person pushing. He's getting to the front of this race. He's going to lead a lap here if he can get the momentum, but he's going to come right down in front. As you can see, there's Stuart Anderson and Todd Maxfield getting very, very close to each other. Noddy's got no momentum, though, because he did not pick a line. He parks himself in front of Steve Hall. But I don't think that's really appreciated as Steve Hall gets out of his way and gets back behind his teammate of Stuart Anderson. And Noddy is really left on his own here, isn't he, Scott?
Yeah, so it's just done some research, just done some sort of canvassing of the teams. So it seems to be the guys are in the realm of sort of 15 to maybe 18 laps. I reckon those guys are telling me stories, though. They might be telling me a few little fibs. They want to give me numbers that they know they can make and that they're not going to give me away their special secret sauce numbers. So I think we've got a range of 15 to 18 laps guaranteed left on this current stint. Anything more than that, I think there will be a few guys that will probably make it.
No, at this stage, if there's a miracle and we get... Oh, look at that. Ash Nesser flying up through the field, finds himself in front of Warwick Sharp and is in 6th place here. But basically, he's one car off the lead here. He's just got to get around Pollard and put himself behind. Oh, sorry, he's on up on a high line on his own. But if we get green for another, till just before the end, we might see some problems. You see?
Yeah, we're gonna see green. Effectively, if this goes green, look, once we get 20 laps out from the end of the race, so we've got to get to about lap 45. A caution comes about lap 45. These guys are going to be on the bumper, on the buffer. They're going to be real tight in terms of their fuel numbers, but they should be able to make it. Actually, scratch that. Just having a look at the pit when they last pitted. They're actually probably good to make it from a caution anytime now. So another caution, they're good to the end. If not, well, everyone's got to come. Not just one car, everyone.
Looking out the back here of Stuart Anderson as he's got Todd Maxfield all over him. You can see on the outside, though, lots of stuff happening as these guys are all over the shop at times, which you can see, look at 36-degree banking, leaving Peter Pollard completely on his own. But you see how much they're moving around there. They do not want to be 4 wide. You can see Todd not wanting to be behind, jumping up in front of Peter, hopefully getting a run from him. Stevie Hoppert is behind there. He's technically 3rd in line, but he hops back down into the low line. He doesn't want to have any bar over 4th line as we go into turn 1-2 yet again for the 40th time.
Two things to note, really. Why is the inside line still able to keep themselves ahead? If you have a look, the top lane has been where all your moves have been coming in terms of the straight. The reason why, they've got 4 cars all sort of there together. The problem is that bottom lane's not pushing very effectively. So their bump drafting, their pushing tactics aren't all that great. So what's going on is, even though they've got the best number of cars down there, if they can get themselves just a little bit more organized, these guys are a little bit more comfortable pushing, they would be the lead line. They would be the line I'd be betting myself on.
Yeah, definitely. And they need to come together. You can see the Southern Stars there are just not quite close enough, I don't think. So, but as we come down the straight, look at them all come back down onto the apron of the track. Anything's
Again, it's just
happen.
covering. Don't leave a margin down there, because the Sky Point guys, they'll just take the Southern Stars. You're going to leave me a small window? That's a mile. I'm going to open that into a door. I'm going to open that into a...
Ash Nesser gets into Todd Maxfield. Luckily, nothing happens from that, but he just wobbled down and into him. You can see Noddy doesn't want anything. He's just staying high. That's Dylan getting in front of him, though.
Pretty much the way that I'd be looking at it is, well, they invented locks on all of these things. You don't leave something locked up, expect your whole house to get robbed.
That's it. So just quickly on the caution stakes, if one does happen, Adam Malone's in the box seat as long as he's not involved in said caution for the... you can see him just there at the bottom of the thing for the lucky dog. See up top there, Brad Fenley. He is the next person in line. If he can just get a run and get in front of Adam Malone, and there is a caution, he gets back on the lead lap. There's also Jai Schultz is a bit further back, so he's probably... Oh, no, he's just behind.
So pretty much, if a caution falls on one of these lapped cars, everyone ahead of me is going to pit. The whole lead pack is pit. You're crazy not to come down pit lane at this stage of the race. So if I'm one of these lap cars, I just go, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not getting my lap back by the lucky dog route. I've got to have a go. So I would always take the wave around policy here, 100% of the time.
Yep, definitely. You can see these two down the bottom here. It's McEthanol. What's the team? Stuart Anderson and Stevie Hall pushing each other really well. Stuart Anderson's now the pusher. I don't know whether that's an aspect of Stevie Hall wasn't quite comfortable doing it, or just Stevie Hall got the run and Stuart's happy with him in front there.
It's working better for them. That's actually the preferred combination. That lane, now that they've grouped up in that format, is going faster.
Definitely. And you can see D-Mac in behind there, and with the rest of the Southern Stars, just not quite close enough, but if they do get closer, I think Stevie Hall's in the box seat right now, but we have so long to go. We have 43 into 67. Peter Pollard trying to push his way through in the fourth line. Gets low, but you can see behind him, no one to push. You'll see Warwick Sharp get a good run out of this banking with Roffey behind him.
He got too close. Warwick's got to get away from that next car down. He's just getting side drafted back.
Too, look at that.
Yeah, so the reason why that bottom lane is surging ahead is, yeah, sure, you've got two cars that are working together down there very, very well, but every other lane is losing momentum from the side draft.
Here comes the 27, about to go another lap down. The 27 is Jai Schultz.
Not the better Schultz tonight.
No, not the better Schultz tonight. Let's have a look at this beautiful field. Look at it all. You can see the pinnacles they've got that low line. They're happy way back there.
Whoa, Warwick, what's he going to do? Oh!
We have a crash.
That is the big one. The big one.
Oh, it's still going too. I'm trying to look. Stuart Anderson got caught up in that, obviously. Wow, look at all the Pinnacle cars. Oh, one of them definitely 100% caught up. They're still trying to sort themselves out. That's a Southern Stars car. That is Aiden Schultz, unfortunately, missing front and back. Maybe it was Aiden I saw before. Let's go back and have a look at what happened there. That Pinnacle car is stuck there. And that Pinnacle car is Matt Payton. Unfortunately, let's go back a bit further than that.
So we've talked about this sort of a few times, but one of the biggest things that you've got to do is if you're at the back, your biggest responsibility is not to full throttle it. You hear a lot of guys talk about, if in doubt, full throttle it out. It's in V8 supercars, very much the opposite. The only time you ever want to full throttle it is if you're right on top of where the accident happens. And why is that? If you're not two car lengths clear of that when it comes down, when it happens, you've got to sort of clear the area as quickly as possible.
So we're looking above with Craig Roffey and Peter Pollard there. You can see how close they are at that stage. There's not much that's going to happen there except for a bump. And Roffey's got wheel down, and he's come down and fortunately hit Stevie Hall and Stuart Anderson. Stevie Hall gets a glance on the wall but comes back up, but Stuart Anderson just becomes a pinball at this stage.
There's nothing those guys can do. They're doing absolutely nothing wrong.
We talked about it. They were doing a great job. You can see here, Noddy almost gets taken out there.
This is actually the biggest issue of having a wider track, is because everyone constantly thinks that they actually have more space than they actually do. But because if one guy makes a reaction, one guy makes a move, everybody else has to react around that. So that's just what happens.
Let's have a look at this, Scotty. I want to see this full pelt from Matt Payton. This is way back. He's just staying back to stay out of the trouble. He's got the 60s on the outside. Oh, here we go, braking. Jumps up high, jumps low. There's another incident. He's got a car just coming down towards him, but he avoids that, but goes straight into the side of Andy Barber, unfortunately, who had already been caught up in a problem. So I want to have a look at the 66, Michael Berta, who was the lap car in there as well. Unfortunately, he got taken out. That's what caused that little incident with Matt Payton, because he got pulled up pretty high. So everyone can make it to the end now. We're all seeing them all come in the pit lane right now. I'll just quickly get to that in just a moment. Just want to quickly see how quickly things go pear-shaped from the back of the grid, even when, look at them all, braking.
235, and then he reacts. He's one of the last ones to react.
And yeah, unfortunately, him being in that position has caused a couple other cars there to avoid, but there's no way to avoid when you've got that happening. So unfortunately, that is the end of a lot of people's races.
You've got to. So from Michael's position, what the advice that I'd be giving from him is, if he's in that situation again, he's got a lot of visibility, so he needs to cover the. You always talk about when you're teaching a new driver or somebody that's learning on their L plates out on the road. What are your braking techniques out on the road? It's the setup and squeeze. What do we talk about? Setup. Cover that brake pedal. The instant that you're not sure what somebody's doing ahead, you lift off the throttle and you just cover the brake pedal. You just want to. In these sorts of things, what you're trying to do is you're actually just trying to activate those brake lights. That says to everyone behind you, there's an issue up ahead. You need to be probably lifting off or very quickly ready to do so. In a road setting, road drivers, they're really not race car drivers. They don't have their same sort of reaction timings. That means generally as soon as you see a set of brake lights, you want to be reacting pretty quickly because you want to be taking a gradual reaction. In a racing situation, everything's going to happen so much faster. So A, you've got to have better reaction times. B, you've got to have better instincts, which means you've got to train that lift off, setup, and squeeze to be all very, very fractional. But at the same time, you can't just jam that pedal on. You jam that pedal on, the guy behind you, he's got no chance to react. He'll always rear-end you. So from Michael's position, he's got to cover that brake. See what these brake lights of Dan McKenzie just did? Just lit them up. He's not heavily on the brake. He's just saying to everyone behind him, hey, you guys need to start. And then the guys that need to brake hardest and brake earliest are actually the guys at the tail end of the pack. Because if they brake hard and they brake early, it creates this really big space for the rest of the pack to start reacting further and further and further. The guys at the tail end of the pack, when they arrive on scene to an accident like that, they need to be doing 50, 60 Ks an hour. Why? Gives everyone else reaction space. When you're in a caution situation, primary focus should be to get through there cleanly. Speed, positions gained, position loss should not mean a thing.
No, exactly. And it's like you know, if you've got your iRacing set up properly, the caution flag comes out. You know something's happening up front. You don't have to physically see it, so you just need to be aware to be able to get through safely.
So I had the joy of obviously doing Spa 24 Hours, was actually one of those with Warwick Sharp. We're actually talking about what these drivers use in additional aids. These guys can buy button boxes. They can buy LED boxes. Warwick Sharp has one of these. He has a little LED display, and anytime that there's a yellow flag up on that, bright yellow lights flash straight in his face. Because the yellow flag on iRacing, there's a lot of yellow lines painted on around the track. The yellow flag doesn't flash in your face. You need some sort of additional measure to sort of do that, because iRacing doesn't do a great job of it. It sort of gives you an alert, not a great job. That's what crew chief's responsibility. A bright yellow flashing light, that does a great job. That's actually why you see Warwick react very, very quickly and very well to all of these cautions. He gets through a lot of cautions, and that's part of the reason for it.
Yep, definitely. You need to be lifting, you need to be hovering over the brake, as you said, and you need to be looking both forward and backwards at the same time.
You've got to build this really good 3D awareness picture. And when I first started iRacing, it was one of the I had no concept of where cars were around me. It's practice makes perfect, 100%.
Here we go. Todd Maxfield has the field. Warwick Sharp is on his outside. D-Mac is ready to pounce on anything that happens. We see a Skypoint racing car flicking in the background, which is Josh Schultz. And off they go. Great start from Todd Maxfield as him and Darren McKenzie.
No one supports the Stone Cold Racing driver. Absolutely no one.
Why would ya? You've got Ruben Phelps coming around the outside. He wants to be the front leader. You can see that bottom row, though, looking very good. Brett Campbell in there just needs to tighten that little gap up, and the bottom row will be unbeatable at the moment. We only have 19 laps to go right now. Ruben Phelps sees this, comes down, and puts himself in position to get the run when needed. You do not want to be first coming around that final corner, do you, Scotty? Or what do you reckon? What's the call for this?
I think coming off the last corner, the way that we've seen the runs, it takes about half to 3/4 of the straight for that run to get enough momentum. So if I'm coming off the final corner, on the entry to the final corner, I actually want to be 3/4 of a car length back off of the car ahead of me, and I want to be starting to build that run on the entry to the corner. So obviously Roffy's got a penalty there, which is why he's pulling out a drive through. So when I'm coming to the white flag and last lap coming into the last corner, I want to be a car length back on the entry to the corner. I want to be nailing that throttle through the corner, so as we come off the corner, I'm pulling alongside the car ahead. If my nose isn't out to make that position by about now, it's over.
Yeah, you can see there Brett Campbell trying to make something happen. He's got Stevie Hopper coming in behind him at the moment, but no one wanted to go with him. No one's helping Warwick Sharp. Warwick Sharp's doing it all on his own. He doesn't care. He's ready. He's going to get the side draft. He's going to pull it along and he'll be fine. That's
Brett Campbell just says, you know what? Let's form a third lane, boys. Let's form a third lane.
Let's do it. Let's tell a story for Toy Story, and let's get right up there. Let's make this thing happen. You can see here Pinnacle moving to the front as predicted. Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher, ready to pounce. Only 4 cars off the lead.
Big wiggle, big contact to the back. Noddy Tompkins
Still
hangs
going.
onto it. Absolutely stunning driving and stunning car control. You want to go back and have a look at that from probably Stevie Hoppett's view, because those two come in. Oh, it's still on! It's still on! Oh my word!
Peter Matson is out. Qualifying. I want to go back, but I was going to do it.
It's gone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So the two cars
now.
come together. Noddy Tompkins was facing at a 45-degree angle to the outside barrier, and nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. Great car control.
Look at this bottom line. Brett Campbell says, I want this. I want to be in front. Jumps down.
He's got a good shot. This is the right time to be leading.
But Todd Maxfield wants none of that. And no.
No,
D-Mac's
no
going to
one
get in
wants
front.
this
Ruben
morning.
Schultz has gone, no, you've lost momentum, mate. We're not going to help you out. We're just going to cruise on by. Todd has got a great run around the outside, but as you said before, so he's pulled up to Brad Fenley and trying to get a little bit of draft on him as he goes another lap down to try and keep that momentum going, because if he got too far in front, like you said before, he would sink like a rock through the field when they finally caught up to him. Warwick Sharp's gone with him this time. Ash Nesser's in there. Good to
Can
see.
we see another Nessa podium?
Yeah, let's go and get the interview happen this week. That'll be great if it does. But let's go. Look at this field strung out now, but 3 Pinnacles in the front. They know what they're doing. They're getting ready to go. Ruben Phelps knows what he's doing. He's just got to get the luck.
Goes Aaron.
Oh, it's all happening. Aaron Dillon is right there ready to go. There's some names up here. Peter Jones has worked his way up to the front here as well. This is very good of him. He's been nowhere all night.
Did you think that this was a motor race so far, Wilco? Because I'm surprised, the Australasian Supercars eSeries does it again. All of a sudden, when you thought the mix was turned up to 11, it finds 1,000.
Evan Horswell. I haven't called that name before. He has moved his way up to... Maybe I have. But he has moved his way up into the top 10 as well, which is... When you say top 10, he's on the outside there, unfortunately. And he's been left high and dry with no third line support and drifting back. But you can see there at the front, Ash Nesser. If he can make this second line work, you'd see how much momentum they get off the corner. If he can be close enough to Todd at the end of lap 67 on that last turn, and he's got to push from behind. The problem will be is everyone just tries to go past him with momentum, and he just loses all kinds of push. That could be a problem. Not having a teammate there is an issue, but as he gets, look and see the run he gets some side draft from Warwick Sharp, who for the first time's in the low line. He just wanted to have a rest. What's going on there, Scotty?
Well, I mean, he's lost his support because he was running with the middle split racing cars, and they've sort of fallen by the wayside now. Penalties, damage, you name it. It's not going well. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you could ever put me in a middle split racing car, because the bad luck that team seems to have is honestly, it's ridiculous. They keep finding ways to just have a car magically appear sideways in front of them.
What do you do? You've got these 3 sitting back here. These 3 Pinnacle ones ready to pounce. What do they do? Do they try and make the high line work all of a sudden? Do they try and do a run down the inside where that you can see that they've left the gap open for a further inside line? What's your call there? And when do they do it?
Personally, sit back, relax, and play the Jaws theme music. That's about all you can do for Pinnacle Esports, boys.
See there, Stevie Hall, unfortunately a lap down, but in behind Peter Jones to help him out. Teammate, but you can see the gap.
Oh, go back up front. Ash Nezza just about got clear on Warwick Sharp. He tried to throw the block. He tried to get that lane shut down.
Oh,
if he gets clear here, he absolutely will shut it down, and he probably will about halfway down this straight, definitely. So expect Nessa to slam the door.
Oh, he slots down. He pushes Warwick Sharp off the track, but he slots down. He was not clear, and he's not clear again, and he's spun. And that is no caution as yet.
No, because he's on the infield, so he's way down the apron. There's no one involved in that. There's not a huge pack of cars coming, but that has cost Warwick Sharp an absolute momentous amount of time.
Yeah, Warwick Sharp's pretty much out of this race now, because by the time he gets back up to speed, he'll be out of the pack, unfortunately. We've got D-Mac, we've got Ruben Phelps, we've got Todd Maxfield now. Brett Campbell says, I'm next to have a chance at this, and we're going to be right here if needed. Peter Jones has unfortunately gone to the high line, which is not working at the moment. Stevie Hall wants to be in front so he can get at least one of his laps down, one of his laps back, but I believe he's probably 2. I'm just trying to find him on the list.
Have a look at Noddy Tompkins. We call this the Dale Jr. line way up there, the Dale line, because basically, whenever Dale Jr. in his stock car racing career needed to go somewhere at Super Speedway lines, it was always up to the top groove. He'd always send it up there. Dylan's found a way to make it work. The problem is he can't find enough support to make it stick.
I made a mistake there. I apologise to all the Stevie Hall fans out there. I know you're very, very numerous in numbers. He's actually sitting in 3rd right now. He is not a lap down. It was Stuart Anderson that went the lap down. Apologies to everyone involved. I actually thought that, yeah, there was a thing happening.
Mate, he's just so good. We had to sandbag him. We actually had to add success ballast to Stevie Hall.
I like the position he's in right now, and he's been running that low line all night. He knows it. He doesn't need to react. Because one of the things, let's have a look out of the cockpit, or let's have a look at the... Yeah, let's have a look at...
hang on.
Something's happening. Look at Pinnacle. Look at Pinnacle. Greg Spencer's done the little test to see if he can get up the front and what's to happen up there, and he is at the front of this pack. Have a look here, though.
So what you might actually see Greg Spencer do here is he may actually try and slow one of these lines down, sort of pack him up. What that means is that'll actually create some opportunity for his teammates to actually get up here when they want to go. But we're still 12 laps here, 11 and a half laps to the end of this race, so it's still too early. You don't want to have it go. You don't want to be up there until the last possible moments. Again, this is all information's finding for these guys. And Greg Spencer, he will be relaying everything he sees. Which cars can you work with? Which cars can't you work with? Who seems to be the dominant line? When do they take the dominant line status? Is it off of that corner exit? Where's the momentum coming from? A lot of questions that need to be answered if you're going to win at a Super Speedway. Normally, that's a stock car spotter's role. When you don't have a physical human person being a stock your spotter, they can't give you these sorts of calls. So that's what he's searching for.
Yep, and you can tell that it's Pinnacle playing a move here because it's Raymond Yeager and it's Justin Witcher they want to see winning these races. Look, all the best to Greg Spencer and Matty Payton, but they have been used tonight as guinea pigs or exploratory runs to find out what they need, and you can see right back there on screen, Yeager and Witcher just sit back, get the information, and they will pounce when they need to with all the information they can get. You don't see Raymond Yeager getting up the front here on his own. You see Greg Spencer getting up there. Whoa, as they almost go 3 wide as Stevie Hall pushes up to the outside line, and Brett Campbell goes really low, rejoins, and almost takes D-Mac out.
That's the unsafe rejoin rule that you remember Justin Witcher get falling foul of sending 5 wide. So that is something that Bretty's got to be aware of. Something else I'm keeping an eye on, Troy Davison is currently in P18. He has hooked up now, though, with in this second pack Gary Wellman, but they need to get a move on. And now they've got Nicholas Walsh working with them. So they're cycling those 3 cars. They're doing more of a slingshot style strategy rather than a bump drafting style strategy. I think that may actually be the way to go.
Yep, so this is where you see cyclists on the road trying to get the fastest action from the leader dropping to the back, and the front ones get the momentum and roll through.
There's a specific style of indoor cycling racing where it's teams. I think it's team pursuit, where you'll have the lead guy will just go as hard as he can, The instant he's burned out, he'll swing high, and the rest of them will slingshot on past them.
Freddie Campbell gets very wobbly yet again on the exit of 4 and almost puts himself down on the apron again 2 times in a row. Ruben Phelps exploring the high and the low line at the same time. Luckily, the gap did not close. He slotted back into his spot. Noddy Tompkins leading the bottom line. Look at this man go. Tom Pritchard, a name we haven't really talked about for a while. He was right at the tail of this pack ages ago as he gets a real nudge from D-Mac halfway around the corner there. Holds on. Look at the Pinnacles just sitting there. Basically blocking it off. No one else is coming through the middle of this pack here. These guys know where they want to be, and they've got 8 laps to make their plan work as we come around for the 60th lap here.
So now these guys start to put this, so they've got their plans, right? They know what they want to do. Now you start putting them into practice, but it's not huge moves. Now it's just get myself to which lane do I want to be in? Where do I want my teammates to be? How many teammates am I going to support?
Sorry,
what do
there's
I need
a lap.
to make this work?
Oh, thank God. I thought Michael Berta was going to try and run the low line as a lapped car there for a second. It would have caused so much chaos. But he's got high, and everyone's got past him.
Is that Witcher sending it on the inside line? So now he moves up another spot. He moves up another 2 spots. So now these guys are, again, just looking for every little bits and pieces. Right now, the difference between 1 meter and 10 meters isn't all that much, but you still want to have every single meter you can.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see Raymond Jaeger just hopping back there. He's in the spot where he knows he can get a run off Spencer whenever he wants. If his car theoretically should be coming right up, being dragged right up behind of Spencer's car there, but you can see he's holding back, ready to go when he needs to slingshot his way through. The middle line is going nowhere, but it just got taken over by the rest of the pack. Brett Campbell, Ruben Phelps, and Noddy Tompkins, though, have control of this race. Todd Maxfield trying to look at it run, but it's just not enough. You can see that start-finish line getting there. He needs to be closer than that in 6 laps time when they cross for the final time, if he wants to do. So this is where you get your runs, you test it out, you know where you've got to be, so you can get it right on that one time. You have to get it right, Greg Spencer, to the front of the top line.
So I'll talk from experience here. At this stage, normally when I'm racing IndyCar, when I'm racing really, really high IndyCar level, what I'm communicating to my spotter is, okay, I'm going to set up, I'm going to have a crack at getting to the lead, and I need you to tell me if I've got the lead when we get to the line. And that's what these guys are testing, and that's what these guys are doing right now. They're going, okay, when do I need to start my run? If I start it at precisely halfway around this corner, there's a mark on the corner at this corner. If I start building that run from there, am I 1 meter ahead? Am I 1 meter short? Because I want to be 1 meter ahead. I don't want to be 2 meters ahead. I only want to be 1, because that last one is all that matters. Yep. Right? So that's what they're picking out. And their spotter will go, yes, you were 1 meter ahead. Yes, you were half a meter behind. Then they go, okay, next lap, we're going to try it from here. Am I close enough? Sweet. As soon as they find that sweet spot, they disappear again. They go missing for a couple laps.
We are 4 wide yet again. These guys have got 4 lines going around the iRacing Super Speedway, which is not going to end well for anyone at some stage. But we only have to get through 5 more times. You can see Witcher there is on his own trying to build a gap with that. Is that Peter Jones with the bright yellow eyes in the background there? 21. It is Peter Jones sitting there with Witcher in front of him. You see the gap's closed right down. You can see how wobbly Brett Campbell, Phelps, and Noddy Tompkins are. Noddy gets that little push up from Ruben Phelps, which has helped him, but he just lifted his rear end up just that little bit and got a little bit loose, but he survived. He did well. You can see how close the top line and the middle line are together now as they come down the final straight. Noddy's got this in the bag. If this stays, if no one else can make a move, that then you see, that is Spencer coming around the outside. I think Witcher and Jaeger just can't find a gap here, or are they just making that call right at the last minute, not showing their cards till the last minute?
Oh, look, they're definitely doing research, absolutely doing market research. You don't go into a new product reveal, the new product obviously being your car across the finish line first, without doing your market research. That's what they're doing at the moment. I was actually just glancing back through the pack again. You gotta really feel bad. One of the strongest cars tonight, one of the cars able to make moves, get his car to the head of the field, Warwick Sharp. P21, 3/4 of a lap down. He did not get that caution.
No, he did not, unfortunately. I'm just trying to go through the field. Yeah, there's Brad Fenley's just hovering around the back there. We saw him get up to the front before, so he has got the speed. I thought he was a lap down as well. I'm not having a good call keeping everyone under control tonight. He's sitting in 23rd. Oh no, so that's a different car? I'm confused. My timing monitor's a little bit weird tonight. 59. 23rd. Oh, he is 1 lap down. He is the leading car a lap down. He's screaming for a caution with 4 laps to go, or a green-white checker. What's the odds, Scotty? Green-white checker. Do I say it? Do I talk about it? Oh, Brett Campbell goes low. Low, very low.
Mate, everyone in the field is thinking NASCAR overtime. What do we do if we get an extended race here to attempt to finish under green? What do you do in terms of fuel? Do you have enough fuel? Have you saved enough? It's a 2.5-mile circuit.
Greg Spencer and Noddy Tompkins were almost sharing pixels then on stage when he came down to get in front. didn't make it stick, and he's now on his own in a fictional middle line where no one else is joining him. Who's that making a run on the outside? Is that D-Mac? Is that D-Mac trying to get around the outside? It is. And look who's come with him, Tom Pritchard. Tom Pritchard's there to help him out, and Evan Horsfall is in there as well. But Greg Spence is stuck in no man's land. I do not like this going into this corner and coming out of this exit. Anything can happen right here.
Oh, it's going to be on this exit bump, and he's nearly got clear. He's nearly got clear. He can move up. It's real tight, really tight.
He's just holding on from side draft from both sides.
Now he'll get sucked back. Don't offer the Sim boys a side draft opportunity. Is that 5 wide? Are we doing this again?
We are 4 wide technically. I think there's a person going to try and make a 5 wide at some stage here. As we've got 3 laps to go, Pinnacle has not made a move, except for obviously Greg Spencer at the front. Maybe it's just his night, but he is there ready to pounce. Jaeger, you can see him just in behind there. He's lining up with Witcher. Greg is leaving a lane open, maybe, for these guys to come through.
So right now, what he's trying to do is he's trying to pull somebody off of somebody else. He's showing, hey, oh, there we go.
There it is. Oh, that's big hit.
That'll be a caution. That's a huge.
Oh, let's go. Pop it. Survive. Brett Campbell's missing a front end. That's going to get Brad Fenley a run around and a lucky dog to get him back on the...
Warwick Taylor got disqualified, I think, out of that. Unless he was already. No, he was already disqualified. So he's been disqualified for a fair while for incident point limits. Peter Jones, Raymond Yeager, Steve Hoppett all got meatball flags. Meatball being damage flags out of this. You'll see it on the screen. Brett Campbell has gone from in contention to drive-through penalty.
Wow. I'm just trying to find Noddy Tompkins here. There he is. He is the unlucky person. This bump drafting gone wrong, I believe, is probably
it is.
The idea here. So we are, look, we're 4 wide. And not only 4 wide, but that middle lane is very, very tight. But you see...
We're 1.5 laps from the finish. We are 1.5 laps from the finish. If Ruben there is not... So Noddy's made a fractional mistake going into that corner. He's drifted up half a lane. Half a lane! Right? And that's because of the bump, whereas Ruben is very, very comfortable. If Ruben hits him square in the rear end, Noddy gets a little bit out of shape, but he's okay.
You can just see
Noddy's had to lift. Absolutely, he has to lift because of his track positioning. Absolutely.
He's done so well. He's done so well, so close to the end. But you can see here, not only does Ruben give him the tap as he drifts up, he's obviously hit him in the wrong spot, which is what's caused it all, but he gets airborne from it. You can see the car lift up. I've done this too slow. Apologies.
No. Watch this. Watch, because what you're going to see is that is 0 degrees of banking right there.
And that's what tips him up.
Yep. So he's got 2 wheels on the ground right now, front left and rear right.
I thought it was the hit that knocked him up. You are right. It's the banking. And then from there, unfortunately, they are heading in the wrong direction.
And there's nothing anyone can do behind them. They're literally just covering set up and squeeze. There was a whole bunch of set up and squeeze. In fact, they skipped the setup phase. They just went straight to squeeze.
So which is the pinnacle? Is that Raymond Yeager that's got caught out in all this?
Yeah, it will be.
Oh, big hit, the 131 there as well.
So I think Ray was just about making moves on this whole pack.
That's Stevie Hoppett. Oh, his engine's gone.
Yep. So Ray was trying to make moves on the outside of these guys at the exact same time, and it's just wrong place, wrong time.
So this is from Ruben Phelps live. Oh, not live, but full speed. Raymond Yeager, sorry, yeah. And he just gets hit. Nothing he can do about that except for get luckier.
Yeah. So remember what I was talking about earlier, where you want to set up that setup and squeeze. Raymond Yeager's too close. He has to stay full throttle. If he lifts out and he covers the brake pedal. What's the cars that are immediately behind Ray? Well, first off, it's Justin. But have a look at the difference. It's probably, 3-4 car lengths there? And Justin has enough time to get on that brake. Just enough time to get on that brake.
And he gets down low and gets control of the car, so he's not on 2 different angled surfaces. He can brake evenly, and he can just stay low and go through it. Let's have a look from... This could be something that wins him the race, to be honest. A little bit of car control.
remember what I was talking. I've talked about all of this crash avoidance, this wreck avoidance strategy. The difference in it, and have a look at how far these two drivers are apart. Both drivers have made the right call for the position that they're in. I think in Ray's position, you have to stay full throttle because pretty much you know that wreck is coming back up the track. You've got to clear the area. You have no shot whatsoever of trying to slow this car down. You slow the car down, you're guaranteeing yourself to be in the caution.
Have a look
right?
at the net code here. I know he's gonna hit him anyway, but have a look at the net code from Peter Jones as he hits Raymond Yeager here. Raymond Yeager's car just goes, nah, I'm not having any part of that. I'm going straight into the wall. He was going to get hit anyway, so it's not a netcode problem. It just looks hilarious.
I've had this conversation with a whole bunch of people. iRacing as a service don't like the term netcode,
No.
and why they don't like the term netcode is the connotations they're actually associated with it. The netcode and what they're sort of talking about there is actually what they provide in terms of a netcode service is actually very, very good in a racing situation. These guys are doing 300 kilometers an hour on 36 degrees of banking. Those cars, like you said, are 100% of the time going to make contact. It is predictive coding. It is predictive coding, and that circumstance that you've just seen there is the worst possible circumstance that you can have for predictive net code, because high speed, high banking, high change of direction. Those are the three big factors that will trigger a netcode, and you've got all three of them lined up. And have a look, they still get really, really close together before they make contact.
Yes.
So everyone will sit here and go, iRacing netcode this, iRacing netcode that. Go play any other simulator and tell me that the netcode isn't worse. They do a great job. So there is no possible way to make it perfect to real life. There is no possible way when you engage the internet. And iRacing have done a bang-up job. They hate the term netcode, but I've always said this. They do a bang-up job. There's nothing more they can do, but people will always find something to complain about. That's just one of those things. There's nothing that either of those drivers could have done. They were always going to make contact. And I would say in probably about 3 out of 4 incidents that I ever have to review in terms of a race control perspective, when netcode was involved, they would have made contact regardless. And we can prove that they would have made contact regardless. It's conclusive that they would have made contact. So
we get ready to go. Pace car drops down. Look at that. Noddy Tompkins still stays on the lead lap, sitting in 7th right now. Ruben Phelps in 9th as well. Justin Witch is back there. Greg Spencer's going to go. We have got a green-white checker. If we get another caution on this lap...
Oh, look at Witcher! Look at Witcher on the outside. He's just grabbed about 5 spots.
You know why? He knew exactly when he was going to go.
Oh, absolutely he did. He's done a great job on that outside lane. If you didn't want Justin to do that, you restart against the fence. He can't do that then. You haven't restarted against the fence, you've left a window open, and racing car drivers love windows.
They do, even when they're not there. We see Greg Spencer getting a run, but he needs to either get D-Mac to drop down. Noddy's doing a great comeback. He's coming down the outside, but he's got no one with him. Witcher is just sitting there. He's got no run.
He's stalled out now, so he's made a whole bunch of enemies as Justin Witcher, and he's stalled out. Now, the bickering and the squabbling over who wants to lead this bottom line may actually help Noddy Tompkins. He'll slot down in here. He's going to get a huge pull along from whoever's the leader. That's Pritchard. Tommy Pritchard. Are we going to be speaking of Tommy Pritchard?
That's why Pritchard pulled out. He's gone in for a drive-through of some description.
He did. Aiden Schultz, Brad Fenley, Darren Robb, Steve Hoppett.
We are on final lap.
With a black flag. Justin Witcher's got a black flag. Caution flies now. Noddy Tompkins will win. He's going to fly.
No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. It's out. Stuart Hart just got nailed.
It's still
Noddy
green.
Tompkins.
It's still green.
Yeah,
it's still green.
Tom gets a huge run. Greg Spencer's in there as well. What are you going to do with 2 corners to go? This is it. Noddy's sitting in behind, ready to go. Ruben Phelps, no.
It's absolutely over. The only drivers that can win this are Gary Wellman, Tom Pritchard, and Greg Spencer. Aaron Dillon might have a go here.
Yes, he will.
It's the last corner. It's white flag. It's green-white checkered flag. Racing at iRacing Super Speedway.
Evan Horsfall's going to have a run here at him, but I think Evan's going to have a huge run to the outside.
He's going to have a crack. It's 3 wide at the line. The flag will
and the Roffies.
Pritchard will win.
Now, this is not over yet because there is going to be incident points. So, officially across the line, Craig Roffey is the closest to a podium you're ever going to get here. Let's have a look. I don't know whether I can get an angle This is
All right. You've had close finishes this season. The numbers are in. 18 thousandths of a second, 4 thousandths further back to Spencer, and Roffy misses out on a podium by, get this, 14 thousandths of a second. And he is 36 thousandths off a win. And Tom Pritchard will steal his second win of the season, and Craig Roffy does his best attempt at a motocross victory.
I've got this picture lined up. I'm not going to change that for a while. Clip that if you want. That is, look at the flagman. It's Barney, isn't it? Barney?
Yeah, it is Barney.
It's Barney. He's got the best seat in the house. Probably lucky Craig doesn't get a shot up and run into him, to be honest there.
That's what I was about to say. If you're Barney, I think right now you're worried you're going to lose your $1 million arm from waving that flag.
That is it. Tom Pritchard has made it happen. We lost about 7-10 cars in that run-up. Unfortunately, no yellow because final lap. Green, white checker, but
Noddy Tompkins, when that first incident would have happened, Noddy Tompkins had it. When the second incident happened, Noddy Tompkins was about even with Pritchard for the win. Pritchard will steal it at the fictional circuit of the iRacing Super Speedway. 3 mile oval, the longest one on the calendar, and I tell you what, the most exciting one on the calendar. We have had dead heats for victories in the last season. Well, how about 36 thousandths covers your top 4? I've never seen a race with 36 thousandths covering 4 cars. Never.
To be Craig Roffy right now and to not get a podium when you are he's looking the back wheels of the leader.
He's looking at the sky, so he's praying for an active God, and he just doesn't get it.
Let's have a look. So Craig Roffy from the let's have a look from his cockpit.
He can't see anything.
Oh, let's go back just slightly.
No, don't you dare! You've ruined the shot now.
You've the shot now. He thinks he's got this. He's probably got the run where he'll definitely get a podium, but Evan has come down and Greg has come up, and it has closed. That window that he thought was open, ready to go, was only slightly ajar. And look at him. Whee! I can see everything, and there it goes, unfortunately. Now, like I said, the only thing that could have helped him there was if one of those boys on the outside or the inside was actually on an incident points problem. He could have got jumped up, but unfortunately, that was not the case. As we get this picture yet again. Oh, I need some people in the green room before this game. I'm going to put all kinds of effort into having them go slowly. We're just going to leave this up the whole way through the interview. I'm sorry. We've got to see this all the way through. Let's hide that.
Can we watch that last lap again?
No.
Can we the whole lap?
No.
Forget it.
You want to see it again?
Yeah, we've only got one frame of the last lap. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the replay is now broken. This is the replay. I want to watch that again.
From where? From whose perspective? From here? From the spotter?
Oh, I don't think so. I think Craig Roffy's perspective, because this will tell the story of the whole last lap. Have a look where the accidents happen. I think
this is where Craig Roffy is, right? This is where Craig Roffy is.
Where does he start this lap?
There's at least, let's chopper. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on his outside there. He is 14th into this last lap. Let's have a look real time. 14th into the last lap.
And have a look at Warwick Sharp. We said he had a mile and a mountain to overcome. It nearly happened. Cars get elbowed right. Cars get elbowed left. Sean Hart disappears to the shadow realm to the high side. Craig Roffy's building momentum.
We've got half a lap to go, and look how far it is between him and the leaders right now.
Apparently, that's the golden ratio, because Pritchard's run out of support at this point in time. He's a long way out in front. There's nothing left for him. Cars weaving left. Noddy Tompkins' chance to win this race disappears. Craig Roffy's chance to win this race nearly disappeared. Aaron Dillon opts to not support anyone. Gary Wellman loses his support. A window opens out of nowhere.
Look at Evan come up through the middle here, though.
Evan Horswell thinks, you know what? I like my chances here. And the gap closes. Every one of these drivers was moving up then, and that's it. That's the start-finish line. If the rules stated you had to have 4 wheels on the ground across that start-finish line to be classified, Craig Roffey finishes 20th.
That is chaos. Oh, they've gone too far.
Well, there's your podium shot if it was only Spencer, Roffey, and Horswell. You take Tom out of that looks like a sick podium shot. The cars are even pointing at each other.
So we got to let's bring up our third place getter, and let's talk to Pinnacle Esports Racing. I don't know, Pinnacle anyway. Greg Spencer, mate, congratulations on third and being 2/100th of a second off a win.
Yeah, cheers, Wilco. Yeah, well, it's about time I got back up and front. I've had a terrible run, so yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Mate, your teammates are making you look super average this season.
Yeah, no help. Nice, Damon, Dustin, Nigel's good guy, so we won't dish out on him.
Greg Spencer goes out there, does all the research, does all the hard work. Oh, guys, this is your fuel numbers. This is your tyre wear numbers. This is what you got to do. And they're like, thanks, Greg. We'll take that and win a few races with it. So finally on the podium, mate. It's been a while between drinks. How good does Craig Roffey's underside of his left front tyre look crossing the line?
Yeah, mate. I did see a little bit of the replay. Yeah, that was a crazy finish, but mate, I'm just happy to be in the podium.
We did talk about it during the race. You seemed to make your way up there after that last caution to the front. We I don't know, rightly or wrongly said you were doing the exploring research for the team. Was that what you were doing at that stage, or you just went, I'm the person who's going to win this and I'm going to go to the front and hope for the best?
Absolutely not, mate. I was going and I was hoping the boys were going to come with me. Yeah, and they got beaten up, so yeah, it was a bit hard. I actually thought I had Tom, but he was too good.
He was. I'm just looking at your right rear suspension, and I think I can see Craig Roffey's shoe at the moment on screen. Have you been in a finish that close before?
No. I've been in some finishes where I'm going across the line backwards, which is pretty much just after the line then. But no, I've been pretty lucky. I haven't. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm never at the front, so there you go. I'm always crashed out before then.
You've got a soapbox here. Hold on. You've got a soapbox here to bag on your teammates as much as you want. They can't say anything because none of them are coming in this box. This is your night. What do you want to say about these tools?
Mate, they're a good bunch of boys. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to dish out. They've been giving me a hard time about our 24-hour race today. So, no, but on a whole, mate, they're good boys.
You go, Scotty. I know you've got a question for him.
So Greg Spencer goes back-to-back wins every race to the end of the season, wins the championship. Likelihood of that happening?
Oh, mate, probably no luck, no chance. I'd like to, but look, I've been unlucky. I'd be a lot closer to the front. I've been unlucky. I've had a couple of terrible finishes, no fault of my own. So anyway, this is the way it goes. You got to take that on chin sometimes, haven't you?
So I'll put the point situation up for everyone to sort of have a look at and have a debate about, and you'll probably walk away from this one sort of talking about it, thinking about it. Currently, season to date, 9 races completed, 135 points was the margin. Up in the lead was Troy Davison on 262 points coming into tonight. So you are effectively half the leaders' points, with Davison finishing 16th, with Jaeger finishing way off, in fact, multiple laps down, with Witcher long way back. Changes in the air. You know what? You might be the primary driver for the rest of the season at this rate.
Well, it was pretty lucky. I forgot to change the team this week, and normally Nigel would have been in the team. But with the 24-hour today, and I bloody just come down with COVID, so I forgot all about changing the team.
I told you, it's COVID. It's COVID. Okay, yeah. So I said when we started this race, I've been on 3 winning teams so far this year in special events. COVID, and COVID.
Yeah, mate, I come down with it on Friday, so...
Can we extend it out for like a month or two? Is that what we need to do now?
Well, I'd like it. I got plenty of sick days up, but I don't know if my employer would.
What are sick days? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, Greg, it's been an honest to God, fantastic moment to see you back in the podium room because it has been a long time between drinks, mate. It's a phenomenal drive. I know you're capable of these finishes, so it sort of had me a bit baffled that you went missing, I think, for the first half of the season. Your opportunity to say a big shout out, big thank you to the sponsors because that number 29 is back in the podium and I think on its way up the standings.
Yeah, mate. Look, big thanks to obviously the boys. Raymond, Justin, Matty, and Nigel. Witcher Electrics, the Sim Racing Edge for the team, and obviously the league sponsors, which are major sponsors. My private seller couldn't do it without these guys. United Electrical Solutions, Hot Toddies, heating installs, Sim Racing Edge, Pagnium Advanced Simulation, Witcher Electrics again, and obviously you guys, you do such an amazing job. It's just, yeah, everyone talks about the broadcast, and we're pretty happy to have you on board.
Thanks, mate. It does help to hear things like that because sometimes I feel like I'm doing it to nobody. But thank you. Congratulations tonight, and hopefully we talk to you again soon. And get over COVID.
Cheers. Yep, cheers, boys. Thanks.
If it helps, Wilco, nobody's my middle name, mate. So you are broadcasting to nobody.
That's it. I found a better view, and you can see Evan's not here tonight. Okay, so he's not in the Discord, so we can't talk to Evan. Unfortunately, I was going to try and get Craig up here, but I can't find him. But it's actually the kick from Craig. He's spun that car around the tail end, which has got the nose slightly off canter. And you can see that's probably what's got him that little bit of a gap ahead of Greg Spencer. That front right of the nose is just over the line ahead.
Evan Horseville's shout-outs tonight include thank you to all the boys and for coming, thank you to all the admins, and thanks for Craig Ruffy for costing Greg Spencer about a half a nose of margin.
That is it. I almost want to get Noddy Tompkins up here. He's just chopped into the green room, but we're going to bring up this week's first place getter, Tom Pritchard. Welcome to the booth and congratulations, mate.
Thank you. How you going, boys?
Yeah, not too bad, Tommy. First question. We have to ask this now. We've heard too many rumors. You've got to have COVID to win races. Have you tested positive lately?
No, I haven't, and thank God I haven't. I'm flying overseas on Tuesday, so I certainly don't want to get that contract that for sure at the moment.
So is the sim rig now getting packed up in the trip overseas? Because at this rate, 2 wins, you're in a championship hunt. You can't afford to take weeks off.
Mate, I know. I'm actually going. I'm going over to Europe for 3 weeks, so I'm going to be away for a couple of rounds. In fact, I'll be away for 2 rounds, the next 2, but then I'll be back for the 3rd round. So, yeah, bit of a shame, but I got to say, yeah, Super Speedways, I do love them, and so that was kind of. I came into tonight thinking, you know what, this is going to be a very risky race. I felt like it was going to be just catastrophe going everywhere, and sure enough, it was. And I stayed well out the back. I don't think you would have seen me once on the broadcast until about 15 to go.
We actually made comment. You were the tail car about halfway through. The pack split up into 2, and you were the tail car on the front pack. And I said that, and then you popped up at the end. I'm like, that's the first time we've seen Tom Pritchard since that moment there. You qualified 30th. You got first. Have you been involved in that close of a finish in a while?
No, yeah. I mean, look, what a crazy finish. I actually on that restart, I was behind DMAC, and initial plan was to just push DMAC along for the win. So I'd kind of taken a bit of a, I was content kind of to just try and push him through. But as we came down the back straight after the restart, he kind of flanked left, and he dropped down, and there was already a car there, so I couldn't drop down, so I was kind of left out to dry. And so I thought, well, I'll just keep in the loud pedal. Just I don't know. It was left, right, up, down, bang, crash, and then I was just trying to get basically running for my life, trying not to get killed. That's basically the outcome, and got next to I think it was Greg Spencer in the end there, and I looked across and I saw his car, and it looked like it had been sandblasted to hell. So I thought, man, he's got a bit of damage. I barely have anything. I've, kept the car clean all race, so I knew I was in for a good shot of outpacing him, and he got a bit around me, but then on the straight managed to use a bit of side draft and pull it back. So pretty cool.
Oh my word! So the first time that we get you in here, I've just checked. I just went and had a quick look at all 3 broadcasts just to make sure we're recording this time. Let's talk to the fans a little bit about that. So first race win comes a little bit earlier this season. I believe it was Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah. So we did get that one right. So the longest circuits tend to be the Pritchard speciality. Tonight's the longest of the long. 3 miles from the crossing of that line, from the getting of the white flag. Noddy Tompkins, he's ahead of you. But you're there. You're there and you're in the picture. You get a little bit further into the lap. Noddy's a little bit all over the place. Cars start falling by the wayside. Tommy Pritchard's got momentum. I'm getting all excited up here in the booth. Do you get that feeling in the car? You obviously said you're running from the chaos. You're running from everything. It kind of actually goes back to the roots of NASCAR, which is, in its very essence, is running for the law. That's, they had to build their cars faster to get away from the lawman. You feel a little bit like that tonight?
Mate, the adrenaline that is going through you in those in the finishes around these super speedways is just intense. I mean, when I crossed the line, I was physically shaking. It was, and just, you're just like completely overwhelmed with excitement and adrenaline from, it just seems silly, isn't it? Like we're here driving a computer game, and it's like, you're getting so worked up and so excited over everything, but it just kind of, you're just getting engulfed and absorbed into it. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. But, both wins I've had have been those kind of crazy finishes. Tonight was, I think, even a bit more crazy than what the Michigan one was. But, I can't even really, Noddy was there. There were a few cars there. I think the key was for me, I got to that last restart and I barely had a scratch on the car. I had really made a point of not, putting myself in a situation. I had a few bloody near misses. There was a few where I was zigzagging around cars going everywhere. It felt like I was in Star Wars. But managed to kind of avoid those accidents. And, that's part luck, part management. And then, got to that last restart and thought, man, this car's in good nick. If an opportunity does arise and I don't get taken out, then, I'm half a chance to be able to outpace these guys, which, look, in the end, that's what looks like it happened. That finish shot is pretty incredible. I mean, it's got, what do we got? It's the car's basically 4 wide, except the 3 at the top had mushed into each other. It kind of looks like what happened.
I'll put it to you this way. Craig Roffey misses out on a podium by 13 thousandths of a second, on a win by 35 thousandths of a second, which is the margin to you. He started the last lap 14th.
Oh, wow.
And probably 2.5 seconds back off the lead.
Wow. So he nearly came over the top of everyone.
Yep. He had the head of steam.
Over the top.
I knew they were coming because, when you in these cars, one thing that, I don't know whether, people watching understand this, but these cars, unlike NASCARs that are kind of built to go around these kind of circuits, these cars have these massive wings on the back of them, which essentially acts like a parachute. So as soon as you kind of hit the wind in these things, you're going backwards. The cars are getting runs on you. So, my kind of approach was to not be in front too early. But, as the way it kind of unfolded, I'm sitting there drag racing Greg, and I knew that guys would be getting runs behind us. But, once you're there, you just can't do anything about it. You just got to keep in the loud pedal and just hope that, that catastrophe happens behind you so that you can... So that, you keep at the front.
I will say probably the race-winning move for you is coming off of that apron, because if you'd stayed down on that apron, there would have been enough space for 4 cars. He gets through. I think he's got it. He had enough momentum. He was coming at such a rate of knots, so you moving up off that yellow line at the last possible moment and squeezing everyone against the fence, it won the race for you. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I knew I wanted to keep them pinched as much as I could. I knew that the inside... being from the inside of the track, one of my ways I could take advantage of that was to push them uphill, basically. So, by doing that, that also obviously has led to them all coming together probably. But I knew that behind me, the car that was directly behind me was pretty damaged. And so I didn't feel he was going to be able to get a run on me, at least at the point where we were. And I'd seen earlier that lap as well when DMAC had gotten kind of half turned. So I knew that there was a bit of, the cat had been thrown amongst the pigeons, and it was going to be essentially some cars going backwards, some cars coming forward, and But no, I'm really proud of that drive. That was really good fun. I enjoyed it, and once again, this league's put on a really fantastic show for everyone. And man, I enjoy this every Sunday night. So it's a bit of a shame I'll be away for the next 2 weeks. I was asking Emirates if I could take my rig on the plane, but I've been declined.
I think you'll find you had to rent one over there. Just you'll be a little bit laggy, but I'm sure it'll be fine. You'll probably actually be the least laggy out of everyone.
I mean, what do you think from 35,000 feet, flying on, in Emirates, coming live? What do you think the ping will be?
It'll be fine. Nothing worse than Australians are used to. Look, I want you to shout out your peoples and thank everyone that you can.
Yeah, look, got to thank the guys at the SkyPoint Racing team. We've got a really good bunch of guys now, and we've been racing together now for like a year, 2 years or something. So it's really amazing. A lot of them got wrecked out today, and that's what this kind of racing happens. DMAC. We were kind of locked together in that last restart. That was really cool. Obviously, SkyPoint, my business. We sponsor the team, and then also Mishy's XL Garage, and oh goodness, I'm forgetting my my other sponsors. They're going to probably kill me, but
that's okay. Next time you win again, you can just remember them that time.
I got them. Tiona Holiday Parks. That was the other one. So no, thanks a lot to those guys, and thanks to everyone as well for coming out and racing each week. I mean, this league is always full, and like that's so cool. It's I know how hard it is to build up a league, and the guys are doing a great job. So hats off to Raymond and the boys over at Pinnacle who are putting it on. And of course, you guys for doing the broadcast as well.
We
it's
do
pretty
nothing.
cool.
It's all good.
Mate. Have you seen the finish shot? Can we point that out again? Have you seen how close you guys were across the line?
Mate, I'm looking forward to watching this broadcast. I'm going to get off this and watch the broadcast after the review, which is of course the main event.
That's it.
You clearly have not driven a 24 hours of Spa this weekend. You've got too much.
I have. I have.
What's wrong with you? Go sleep,
mate. I'm running on adrenaline. I actually fell asleep in my rig before this race, and I had Adam Malone and Jai Schultz gang up on me, and they came and I was sitting in basically just off the side of the pit road, and I was asleep in my rig, and they came and just whacked me as hard as they were driving at full speed. I'm like, what the hell? And that woke me up. But yeah, me and Aiden did Spa 24, and we did the 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. shift this morning between the two of us. So we're both running quite on empty, I think. So I probably will watch the first part of the broadcast, fall asleep, and then have to watch the rest tomorrow.
Well, the other side of the coin is, even though you're not going to be able to perhaps watch, you're at least going to have something to watch on the plane, right?
That's right. Hey, I'm going to ask Emirates if they've got, Locked On Lads broadcast as part of their
in-flight
entertainment system.
Yeah.
If not, get them to talk to us.
Mate, I will. There'll be a call coming to you tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tommy Pritchard. His opportunity to shout out all his sponsors once more.
Yeah, thanks, of course, to the guys, SkyPoint Racing, and of course, Mishy's XL Garage and Tiona Holiday Parks, and all the boys at SkyPoint Racing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, that is your Hot Toddy's hottest moment, I think, of the season so far.
So far, that's it. We're only halfway through it. There's plenty more to come. I don't want to go away from this picture, but we have to.
Well, good news. You can actually overlay all of the dates and things over the top of this one. This is the new one to overlay it over the top of. So all that text next week, you'll see it on that post-race photo.
No, so next week we go to the second round of the Triple Crown, and it's a very different race. We're going to Homestead Nationals. We will have two 16-lap heats, followed by a 45-lap B main, and then a 90-lap A main. Oh my God, I cannot wait. But no, it's going to be great. So Triple Crown next week, 31st of July. Look out for that. Then we will start heading into the second half of the season, which is Las Vegas, Phoenix Raceway, Kansas Speedway, and Talladega. Look at this. Tommy Pritchard's going to be so excited with a few of these ones. But yeah, finishing up in November 6th when we head for the third leg of the Triple Crown to the California Classic for 150 laps.
Well, it's actually good news for Tommy because we've got obviously racing again next weekend from Homestead, but then there's a week off in the middle there. The 7th of August will be another off week. So perfect. That's just about worked out bang on perfect for him.
Can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring an end to the My Private Seller Australasian Supercars eSeries broadcast brought to you by Locked On Lads TV, Edge Setup Shop, Witcher Electrical, and Wilco and I on the booth. It's been an amazing Spa 24-hour weekend. It's been an amazing iRacing Super Speedway weekend. Final comments on the broadcast here tonight, Wilco.
Honestly, if you do want to support some stuff we've been doing, lockedonlads.com/charity, get a link over there. I know you're probably not listening at the moment, but we've been raising money for Cure Cancer. I really have not had a chance to promote it on this stream like I was supposed to because everything was happening, all kinds of chaos, and I just didn't get started till late. But we've raised nearly $600 over there at the moment, racing the 24-hour today. Thank you to everyone who has already jumped in and sponsored. Just so you all know, the audio levels are a little bit out tonight. I apologise for that. Just been crazy trying to get everything set up from today.
We're both exhausted. Yeah, we've both been running since obviously all week for you with the charity week, but also since 8 a.m. yesterday is sort of when the weekend starts to really unfold. And look, I've done one shoey. I still owe the rest of my team another shoey after finishing on top in the second one. So that's where I'm heading. You
go do that.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys to it because I need to go to bed. Actually, I probably need to do pays and then go to bed for all my stuff. And then be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I cannot wait for that. But everyone, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this great race. And we'll be back next week. Have a great night all.